Caitlin Clark reminded everybody who she is in the Fever win over the Wings in what was a blowout victory. One where Clark didn't even shoot the ball well again, but she completely dominated the game and shows the difference between her and everyone else through her playmaking.
And in less time than you can say playoff contention, the Indiana Fever have transformed from the league's most intriguing storyline to basketball's favorite punchline. And at the heart of this storm of change is none other than our favorite corn-fed superstar, Caitlin Clark, who, after months of being treated as the team's uncomfortable +1, has now been let loose like a basketball kraken.
Caitlin Clark said, folks, forget what she's talking about. Today, I'm going to run the show. Today, I'm going to control the pace. Today, I'm going to dictate how this team plays basketball, and in the first half, we saw exactly that. Natasha Howard running the floor. Yeah, you heard that correct. Natasha Howard running the floor. Yeah, I shit you. Folks, fans have a voice. Sometimes when the noise gets too loud and they're tired of hearing from it, they say, let's just buy in a little bit. Let's let Caitlin Clark be Caitlin Clark. Let's not pull the reins back too much. And in that first half, we saw exactly that.
Shall we go back to only a few weeks ago? After someone brought up politics, the atmosphere in the Fever locker room was greater than that of a family Thanksgiving feast. During a power outage, the atmosphere felt colder than Antarctica. The chemistry was so poor that it would have failed the science course in high school. However, they are now operating like a well-oiled machine. If NASA engineers with a side business and basketball prowess created that machine then.
That's what we're talking about when we are referring to Caitlin Clark running the show. Caitlin Clark running the offense, being the innovator of offense, the distributor of offense for the Indiana Fever. This is exactly what we mean right here. This game was an absolute blowout. Dallas Wings didn't know what hit them. Everybody ate.
The moment Dana Bonner packed her bags and brought her "me first" mindset with her was a turning point. After strutting into that locker room like she was the Coachella headliner, Bonner found out she was actually scheduled for an open mic night at a coffee cafe that was desolate. She attempted to be the focal point of a jigsaw with Caitlin Clark's name already inscribed in the center. It was similar to seeing someone attempt to use a selfie in place of the Mona Lisa and hoping the Louvre would accept it.
So, Indiana Fever just released their cut their losses, right? And I hear these analysts saying stuff like, they should have held out for a trade, or I wish they had got a trade for her. She was literally untradeable. Right? Like, what team would give up any of their core players for a player that's past their twilight? They picked up R.A. McDonald, or re-signed R.A. McDonald, who we all saw was a spark plug just a couple weeks ago. She's an upgrade compared to DeWanna Bonner.
Bonner's exit involved more than just a shift in people. An exorcism took place. You could almost hear the collective sigh of relief as soon as she unpacked her locker. It was so loud that it appeared as an unexpected breeze on weather radars.
Because we've seen a huge change. We've seen a huge change from the Indiana Fever over the last 6 quarters. And especially in the fourth quarter, in the Dallas Wings game. And there were 2 players in particular that I have said that their style of play, regardless of how they're playing, is not going to work long term. And those 2 players had unbelievable games yet.
Subscribe if you're enjoying it. The Fever lost dead weight that was tying them to the bottom of the standings in addition to losing a player. It was like taking out a splinter that has been there for months, addition by subtraction. All of a sudden, the group was able to breathe normally again without being surrounded by the oppressive vapors of entitlement and ego. What followed? The skies became clear. The birds began to sing. The Indiana Fever also recalled that they were let to play basketball as they pleased. The team's energy changed more quickly than a TikTok trend when Bonner's negative gravitational pull was absent. During games, players who appeared to be attending a funeral started giving high fives, chest bumps, and playing with a delight that reminds spectators of why they initially fell in love with basketball.
This team is like a sorority group. I'm not joking. They are so closely bonded, like the energy that all of them have with each other. There is not like where you see and someone looks a little disconnected. This is literally the most tight-knit team. I'm telling you, and I actually think all the discourse or the people trying to create discourse offline or outside the locker room only makes them tighter. And throughout the training session, I saw multiple times where, they were like laughing and mucking around and just completely like high-fiving and actually speaking of...
Here comes Sophie Cunningham, the basketball equivalent of a triple espresso shot for humans. Cunningham seized the squad by their collective jerseys and essentially yelled, "We're not done yet," in their faces while everyone else was occupied with penning eulogies for the Fever season. She didn't just take charge. With the subtlety of a library fireworks show, she threw herself into the orbit of leadership. In one blonde cyclone of energy, Cunningham served as the team's unofficial hype woman, defensive drill master, and locker room therapist. She was not providing matches to the team when they needed a spark. She was flinging motivational Molotov cocktails. With the feverish energy of someone attempting to convey the plot of Conception in 30 seconds, Cunningham was drafting plays in the air during timeouts while other players were taking a break.
It was probably the standout play in the game, in my mind. Clark with the big-time rejection near the rim, and then the get-ahead pass to Sophie Cunningham, touchdown. And Sophie Cunningham has come into her own as of late. But it's just beautiful. Get it out, get it up, bucket. And, that's just something others cannot do.
Her realization that Caitlin Clark's integration into the system was mandatory was her most significant contribution. It was necessary. Cunningham viewed Clark as the skeleton key that may open the Fever's potential, but others considered her as a rival. She served as the link between the new prodigy and the old guard, introducing Clark's basketball prowess to comrades who had been too preoccupied with defending their territory to realize they were sitting on a goldmine. When Clark threaded an impossible pass through the defense during practice, Cunningham would be the first to cheer. She would yell, "That's what I'm talking about," to make sure everyone knew that this was more than simply excellent basketball. This was basketball's growth. She transformed admiration for Clark's skills into a group movement, winning over doubters more quickly than a cult leader offering free snacks.
All right, everyone who said that the Fever played better without Caitlin Clark, come to the front because I'm going to slap you in the face. Fever just won 102-89 against the Dallas Wings. Congratulations to Fever. They killed it with their old and trusty playbook of just rim running. And Dallas Wings, Chris Coclanis, have you never seen a Fever game before? They're fast in transition, but huge with the long bombs. Caitlin Clark is there. Run to the other side quickly. That's where they got the majority of their points. Poor Paige Beckers. You're such a huge talent, and you're just drowning with this terrible coaching. It breaks my heart, but it was an incredible game until the last quarter when it was very clear that the Fever...
Caitlin Clark, meantime, was going through a transformation of her own. Clark returned her kingdom after months of being treated like a visitor in her own locker room. She did so by earning it with talent, perseverance, and the kind of work ethic that makes Olympic competitors seem like weekend warriors, rather than by demanding it. The Clark that we currently see is not merely a basketball player. Every pass is a note in the symphony she is conducting, and every 3 mornings is a crescendo. She is no longer a newbie attempting to establish herself. She is the focal point that elevates everyone in her vicinity. Viewing old Heat games from earlier in the season feels like viewing footage from a different universe, where joy and basketball brilliance were outlawed by a constitutional amendment since the shift has been so thorough.
Caitlin Clark now has the 5th most double-doubles with points and assists in WNBA. The 5th most double-doubles with points and assists in WNBA. And we're only in year 2? And we've missed half the season so far? Oh no. Oh, that record's going to be broken any day now.
Screaming or controlling others is not Clark's style of leadership. It's about raising the bar. She doesn't ask for attention. She adds more illumination for the other people. She doesn't only make accurate passes. Being proactive, They reach teammates' hands before they even recognize they are open. As the defense continues to set up the checkerboard, she is engaged in a game of chess. 3 steps forward, speeding up. Gravity naturally draws items toward the most enormous presence, so the team now circles around Clark, not because they were told to. Without a doubt, Clark's basketball talent and IQ produce a pull of their own. Like she's carrying the only bottle of water in a desert, teammates who used to seem reluctant to give the ball to her now actively seek her out. When Clark calls for the ball in a pinch, you can see 5 heads nod in unison before the throw is even completed because the trust is that complete.
Even with their actual coaches and their training staff, like I've got some awesome videos of Keith training, like KK training Dantas, and you will see that they're laughing and they're having a good time. And I just think that is like the energy that you want, right? You want to create a locker room where it feels like family and you have each other's back no matter what, and noise gets loud and noise gets disruptive, but as long as you can stay together closely knit, then you can drown that out. I genuinely...
It's not just a team going hot at the perfect moment that we're seeing. It is a total change in identity. The team with Caitlin Clark is now the one with the fever instead of the other team. There is more to the capitalization than just emphasis. It's to faithfully depict the profound change in how others view them. They have evolved from a sideshow to the main event, from an interest to a contestant. Making the playoffs isn't the only goal of their playoff quest. The goal is to inform the basketball community that the revolution has already begun before the schedule. The Fever determined that waiting is overrated and that the future is now, even if analysts were projecting that they will be in contention in a few years.
Yes, the shooting's not there yet, but that will come. But being a playmaker is more than just scoring the ball, and dropping 13 dimes and getting 5 steals is amazing work. I mean, look at this dime, full court pass. This is incredibly hard. If you haven't ever played basketball, this pass to Cunningham is so hard. And she was doing this all game. Here's another one in the 4th quarter to Kelsey Mitchell for an easy layup. With CC back in the lineup, this Fever team is starting to click, and they are becoming a force. They have 2 key games before the All-Star game, and I think if they can win both of those, this team's going to be right in there for the second half of this.
The urgency of those who have just learned that their Netflix free trial expires tomorrow and still have 3 seasons to binge watch is being exploited. A portion of the story is revealed by the numbers. They see better defensive rotations, higher assists, lower turnovers, and higher shooting percentages, but they failed to see the intangible change. The Fever now play with an unquantifiable swagger. They enter arenas as though the mortgage has been paid off, and they own the structure. The element of intimidation has changed. Once viewed as simple victories, opponents now approach the Fever games with the apprehension of someone disarming a bomb. The best aspect is that everyone is helping. The Indiana Fever is not the backup band for the Caitlin Clark performance. Everybody gets their turn in the spotlight in this ensemble group. With the efficiency of a German-trained schedule, Kelsey Mitchell is scoring goals. Nalissa Smith is bouncing back as if her family was personally offended by the ball. The rim is being guarded by Aaliyah Boston as though it were state secrets. And with the easy assurance of someone who has no idea what pressure feels like, Lexi Hull is hitting threes.
Clark, after the game, was talking about how so many different players were in double figures. I mean, Kelsey Mitchell, another awesome game. 8 of 12 from the floor, 20 points. Natasha Howard, 18 points, 8 of 9 from the floor. I was critical of Natasha Howard in the last game. Got to give it up when it's due. If she can come into her own with Clark on the floor, that's a whole different ball game. Aaliyah Boston, 17 points. No, Clark was the 4th leading scorer with 14 points. Sophie Cunningham had 13 points off the bench. 102 points scored for the Fever.
Let's be honest. Concerned friends would have checked on you a few weeks ago if you had said Fever and championship in the same sentence. The murmurs have begun now. Could this group of outcasts and cast-offs, led by a rookie sensation, truly contend for the championship? Will Caitlin Clark's first victory come with the timeliness of an overachiever who arrives at a job interview an hour early? The probabilities remain high. There are still many challenges. But in Indianapolis, something extraordinary is taking place. Something that goes beyond logical forecasting and statistical analysis. The Fever are tampering with house money and card counters trust. They are the basketball equivalent of the line, "This is so crazy, it just might work," that appears in every heist film. And in the middle of it all is Caitlin Clark, sporting that Midwestern grin that somehow combines fear and humility. She is transforming the course of an entire league, not just a team. While Clark is busy installing more lighting for everyone, some players are still fighting over who should be in the spotlight.
All right, guys, this game got real crazy. But let me tell you, 64 points by the Fever, and it's all because of that lady right there walking off the court, Caitlin Clark. Look, now you got 3 players in double figures. You got Howard, you got Mitchell, but you got her assists. She got her assists, man. She should have had 10 assists already, bro. Dantes fumbling the bag, Kelsey Mitchell eating a wide open layup. Bro, you messed up her stats. But anyway, but she got 10 points, so that's pretty good in the first half. Plus a whole bunch of assists. She got 7.
So, basketball aficionados, fasten your seatbelts. There is more to the Fever's redemptive narrative than meets the eye. This serves as a warning to the WNBA establishment. It's an obvious message. The future is not yet here. It has already arrived. There are no-look passes that violate the laws of physics when wearing number 22. Winning games isn't all the Indiana Fever are doing. They are redefining what is possible when opportunity and talent collide and greatness triumphs over ego. And that winning run of Twain is only the cherry on top. There will be a feast that the basketball community won't soon forget, and the main course is currently being prepared. Not only are the Fevers hot, they can catch fire. The only thing left to wonder is if the league as a whole has enough fire extinguishers to deal with the situation that is about to unfold. Because Caitlin Clark has discovered her kingdom in addition to her voice in the WNBA. Furthermore, it appears that her rule is only getting started. I hope the rest of the league gets ready in honor of the Queen. The Fever has subsided, and more than just a basketball squad is coming out of the other side.